Hey guys, it's Tartan coming at you with another game of Geometry Dash. And here, I am heartbroken to tell you that we're playing Clubstep again. A place I said I'd never go. You know, we got auto checkpoints on. I don't remember anything about this level except that I thought it was too hard to beat. So we're just going to get right back down to it. After all, I don't know what I'm talking about, so maybe it's not too hard to beat. Hey, ungiving. Alright, so here it's what we hit there, and then it's a jump there, okay. No, you hit the 4 blues and then skip one. Fortunately, it's at the beginning, so I'll be able to mess this up repeatedly. Am I not? Yeah, here we go. Practice mode. 6% on normal, new best. Well, you know, we still need to see what the level's like. Hello, Heather. A friend of yours recommended me. Glad to catch your life. Well, I'm glad that your friend has sent you here. I hope they mentioned that I'm very bad at the game, but that I'm sometimes cheerful about it. I'm super bad. I'm not good enough to beat this level, but that doesn't mean I won't be able to do it if we don't try for a while. That's one of the things I like about Geometry Dash, you know. You can become equal to your struggle through enough effort. All right, that yellow one's a fake, probably. Hello, Warhammer. Okay, and then all those blues are fakes. All right, so blue yes, then a bunch of blue no's. Or maybe the last blue is yes. I don't know. Last one is yeah, because you gotta flip up to the thing. JC is probably the easiest level for me to play next. Well, you know, there's only three levels left that I haven't beaten, and Theory of Everything 2 is definitely harder than this. And Deadlocked I haven't even unlocked yet. All right, yeah. All right, we'll do that a couple more times just because I need the practice on it. But so we hit there, and then we skip 2. Okay. And then just, all right, so you jump, hit there, jump, there we go. And then drops here. And then here we gotta, okay, right, this thing. You know, with enough practice, that part will be easy peasy. That part is automatic. Oh, right, you know, you gotta identify what's going on. That's my problem. Okay, this part is easy enough. Why don't I die on it every time after I know how it happens? All right, there we go. And then we need to fall. Okay, and then the floor there is safe. I like to learn at my own pace. All right, and then after this yellow one, you drop here. Hold just a bit because there's a spike on the ceiling, I guess. Rough. Just a little bit of straight fly, not like a big hold, just like a little bit there, and then we got okay. Oh yeah, I can't wait to lose real runs to this repeatedly. Feels good. Okay, not like that. Not like that either. This isn't even the part that I was getting like mega frustrated with the other time. It was a later part than this. This with enough effort, you know, we can just die to that a lot. And it's only at 30%, so this part is pretty tough. At least it's not at the end. Do I have a computer? Yeah. I do all my playing on PC. The only console I have is a Switch, and I never play it. It's dead somewhere. Every time my power goes out, I go and look for it, and it has no battery charge. It's very sad. No, I play with a controller for reasons of the limitations of my physical body, not because I want to or because I'm on a controller. I would be slightly better if I could use a mouse, but, you know, not a lot better. As we see from this decision making, okay, let's back it up a little bit. Okay, and then it's a spike at the front there, because if we just keep it a little level... You say holding is easier? Well, the thing is that there's an obstacle at the very end of the level of it, and so it just seems like the straight fly, at least attempting it, is probably a little smarter, but maybe if I get the timings down, I can just sort of up and down loop it, like I'm not doing there. Man. It's muscle memory. Fortunately for you, I don't make that the way other people do. Have you ever seen me fail at the exact same thing 800 times and not get any better at it? I've seen it. I've seen it for my whole life. The segment, like, it's with the checkpoint that close, it's like I can't even learn anything. I just fail the same way, and then by the time I get it, it doesn't even register that that's the way to play. I go back and I can't even, you know, do anything. I just crash again. It's fine. I'm terrible. You say, in your opinion, Theory of Everything 2 is harder than Deadlocked? I will likely unlock Deadlocked and try it before I try Theory of Everything 2 again, given that I couldn't even get through a practice of it. I couldn't even get to 20% on a practice of it. Yeah, man, this is gonna be a super rough section. How many thousand attempts till we get through here? Like 4,000 attempts until we even get through this one section? Not on practice, but like for the real thing. Maybe we'll beat Clubstep after like 15,000 attempts. We've already got like 3,000 practice attempts, right? This is what you see after I've already spent like more than an hour on this level. Shameful. Terrible. I'm just the worst. It's fine. Why not do the same thing wrong, but in slightly different ways repeatedly? That's the same as learning. The exact same. Literally brainless. Why can't I learn anything? These are questions. Hello, Zenith. You're back. I'm not back. I am just failing. It's not going great. No, I feel fine. It's just my gameplay that's terrible. It's so bad. And I didn't mean to do that. I'm always hitting the wrong button on menus and then getting upset about it. Alright, we need to back up because that checkpoint is terrible. Goldchin, you say I've got this. Oh, maybe someday. You know, I will say that the Geometry Dash community can be very supportive, you know, of people that clearly are not gonna get this. Because I am just so bad, but people are always the nicest about that. You know, most of the time. Sometimes people are like, look, Grandpa, why are you even playing this game? And I'm like, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. And then I evade it. Because there's nothing I like better than ignoring a good question. What? Okay, so it goes there and then loops, and then we gotta drop down again. No, not like that. You know, if I do this part a bit, we'll just be able to do that right, leading to here where we won't do it right. Right back. Right back to where I can't do it right. Right back there. All right, you know. You say this app is under casual in the App Store? Well, that is a little bit of deceptive marketing, isn't it? No, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty in Geometry Dash for the casual player to like. After all, what's more casual than failing a few thousand times at a task? Casually. Fly casual. That's how I fly. That's why I'm bad. Man alive. Hey Gabriel, how's it going? We oh man. Why can't I just do it right? Why? It's not important. I shouldn't ask why questions like that. It's because most of the time I don't even know what is going to hit me. I'm just trying not to run into the top or the bottom, and then half of those places are lethal. So you just got 87? Well, you know, I'm sure you could beat this level 1,000 times before I could get through this section once. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I know I can show hitboxes, but then they stay on all the time. Green Machine, this level is not easier than Death Moon, but it's funny of you to lie to me. Look, I have played a lot of Death Moon. I don't want to brag, but I've probably played Death Moon more than you have. I failed for like 23 hours to beat Death Moon. I consider myself an expert in being bad at Death Moon, and this level is harder. Ah, man. Green Machine, you say, guess it depends on the skill set? I mean, yeah, for sure. Gabriel, have I tried to play with keyboard? Yeah, hand goes numb. It's basically exactly as bad as playing with a mouse is, only I consider playing with a mouse to be better for me. Like, whenever I was playing with the mouse compared to the keyboard, I never felt like the keyboard was a good way to budget my hand not being numb yet. Alright, and there's something weird here that I never... It's like you go through the roof or something. It really bugged me the first time. What was it? There, okay. Like, I did not get it the first time I did this. And then we do it again? Yeah, we do it again. Very, very tricky. Any good progress so far? Oh, I wouldn't say so. You know, we're just going through it on practice. Gabriel, you say carpal tunnel really messed me up? Oh, yeah, you know, it, Look, my hands basically didn't work at all before I got them fixed. I couldn't open a bottle of water. I couldn't carry my keys to my car. So, that I can't use a mouse for a lot of clicky motions is a price that I am not too upset about paying. But whenever I was starting with Geometry Dash and there's a lot less clicking required in the levels, you know, I was using the mouse and you know, it is better. But you know, you work with what you work with what you got, right? All right, so here we gotta. I don't think either of these are safe. We just gotta. That's a tricky little interval, isn't it? All right, and here we're at the part that's bad. I feel like I recognize this shit part. Yes, not how to do it right. When I use my keyboard and mouse, do I rest them on the desk? Like my wrists? There's basically no angle to repeatedly move like my wrist that's going to torque it that's acceptable. The X button press, the A button press, because my wrist has absolutely no flex and the thumb is controlled by a whole different thing. But so if you just like hold your hand up and see if you like just flex your index finger or your middle finger down, you'll see the effect that it has like on the wrist, twirling it a little bit, and on the inside it's actually more of a dramatic thing. And so while I can use a mouse, if I click on it repeatedly, it's basically lots of tiny little flex happening and makes it go numb. So I can quite comfortably use a mouse to play some games, but if it requires a lot of clicking, like your normal real-time strategy, click, 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 drag around and all that, it's rough. I'm super bad at Total War Warhammer 3, which is the RTS that I do play, but even with working hands, I would still be bad. I don't want to use them as an excuse for being bad at Warhammer. I'm so bad at the game. Yeah, my hands couldn't give me a new brain. I'm always like losing my cavalry. I'm like, oh, those are spears. That's bad. That kind of thing. I'll charge my dragon into a superior dragon. But no, my hands are not flawless, but they are super good and way better than they were. I basically thought my life was over whenever I didn't know if I was going to be able to get them fixed. It was a real rough time for me. I didn't know how it was going to work. I didn't know how I was going to do anything, But now I can work and play video games, and that I can't play super clicky games with a mouse it's just what I'm going to live with, It's all right. What is with this timing, okay? Like, what is with this timing? This is super obnoxious. It just seems like that should make it. How? No, oh, man. No, and that's wrong, too. Hey, Natasha. Yeah, it's just you gotta... If you're on this interval, you just fall there. It just looks like you're going to clip this right there, but you're not. And then you hit the portal and run right into it if you're me. And, of course, if you're me, as always, I'm sorry. The world shouldn't have done that to you. It's bad enough that it did it to me, but I've got practice with it. What? Oh! So there's a corner there beside the spike where you can actually hit the bottom of the ship on it. If that ever happens in a real run, I'll just die because it actually inhibits the expected drop quite considerably. Wow, that's But hey, Natasha, how are you? I meant to. Man, I was supposed to be streaming hours ago, but I took a long midday nap. It was great. It was everything I hoped it could be. Okay, not like that. Alright, so we hit the first three, just like we did by accident. And not that one, just like we did on purpose. Chase, you say the UFO part is probably the hardest part of the level? Oh, I hope so, because I don't think it's that bad. I think the ship part's the hardest part of the level. I think I'm coming up to it now, if memory serves. I also think we'll probably lose a lot to this because, man, I think we'll only do this right by accident. You just jam down. Okay, yeah, this is the ship part. Or it's about to turn into the ship part. That's the part of the ship part that made me totally despaired. I tend to do okay at UFO parts. That's not exactly true. UFO parts tend to, because the physics of it are very interesting to me, to like the way that, you know, your falling motion is controlled and how really small differences can still get you through the same ways. Like, I think the UFO is not my favorite of the forms, but I think it's the most interesting of them pretty often. So I tend not to get too frustrated with it, except for when I'm like just learning there, where I'm like, how does this even work, you know? But I think that part won't be too tough. Of course, this is not my first practice run of Clubstep. I've been here 3,000 times. Most of them were spent on some of the ship parts, like the one coming up. I think it's the one coming up. Man, I just look forward to the first time I get here, absolutely dying right there, or right there, or right there, apparently. Okay. You sat at 96%. Well, you deserve it for doing so much better than me. All right. Not there. Just try spamming after hitting the arrow orb until the ship portal? Perhaps. I thought I already was spamming. Oh yeah, this is awful. This is terrible. I hate it. Alright, so we need to hit the portal low. Not high, definitely not high, because we won't be able to turn around. And then bottom, say, flip to the top. Nope, not like that. Not like that. Okay, is that surface safe? It is safe, but you bonk your head and then the overcorrection switches you into some spikes. So I have carpal tunnel syndrome, or rather, I had surgery for it. It just I still have the effects of it. My surgery was 4 years ago, 4.5. Like, I can use a mouse. I just can't use a mouse 50,000 times, or in the case of this game, 10,000 times in a day. Because, like, I don't remember how many jumps I had in Death Moon, right? But it had to have been, 50,000 or something. No, it didn't have to be that high. After all, there were only 7,000 attempts, and many of them didn't have more than 5 clicks. They only count certain kinds of clicks as jumps. Oh, I see. Yeah. I play with an Xbox controller. It used to be a PlayStation controller, but it died. It was already very old. It was like a PlayStation 4 controller or whatever. It was already pretty old. But we started having input issues with it. And, you know, it came unplugged. It was super lame. Okay. Yikes. I'm still trying to get, like, an accurate feeling for how many thousand of attempts I think it would take to beat this. Because maybe it's not... I don't know. As a player with, you know, significantly more hours than the last time that I gave up on Clubstep, because, I mean, like I said, you know, like, we played Death Moon for, like, you know, 20 hours. So that's a lot of time, you know, probably like, you know, 30% of my playtime has happened since I gave up on Clubstep. The top one's there, Dangerous, got it. And, like, I'm not really seeing any areas where I'm thinking, okay, I definitely can't do this. Like at the beginning of Theory of Everything 2, where I literally just don't get it. It's not working. So I think, you know, this could be fun. We could just fail at Clubstep for, you know, ever. Hello, Sensolus. Yeah, well, you know, Natasha, we're already at 3K, though, is the thing. Because we failed 2,700 times or so for the first try before we gave up on it. Daily Dose, what do I think about the Switch 2? Oh, I don't have one. I hope everybody who bought one is satisfied with their purchase. But I have a Switch 1, and I still have mini games that I have not played at all on it that are, you know, among the greatest of games, and I still have put them off. So we go over that one, right? Not this one. All right, yeah. So here, over, under, above this one. So upper teeth, lower teeth, above the pillar. Not like that. Slightly less than that. Okay, the roof is not safe. And then the lower teeth of the next tower are good. Not the roof. Breath of the Wild. Yes, exactly. Breath of the Wild I own and did not play. I tried to play it one day, and I got frustrated and, like, really upset. And, because I love Zelda games, and, like, that one came so highly recommended, but then I just wasn't having a good time and had a whole, like, breakdown about it. Like, I was, like, seriously in tears because of how upset I was, which is nothing, you know. Y'all know I cry all the time. But I was really upset about it, and I haven't played it since, which is a shame because I'm sure it's a wonderful experience. But yeah, no, that's the game specifically I meant. But I also have some other stuff that's pretty good and that I just, like, haven't played. I've only played like the second world of Super Mario Galaxy or Odyssey. Odyssey, that's the one. Inventory, it was even worse than that, Natasha. It was, I think, like, I was still, like, supposed to be doing tutorial stuff, and I just wanted to go in a different direction, and it wouldn't let me, and I got really upset and quit. Is, if I remember correctly, this would have been years ago, but, like, I want to say that's what happened, you know. I wanted to go left or up or whatever. You know me. It's usually left or up, sometimes right, but usually left or up, and it didn't work out. And I was just like, look, if this game's not going to let me go left or up, whichever, then I don't want to play it. It could have been the inventory, but I think it was actually, like, restrictions on my movement that I found annoying. which wouldn't necessarily be duplicated if I played it again. Since you ask if I've beaten any demons, yes, I've beaten 5 demons. My hardest is Death Moon. I've also beat Plaid Adventures and Shiver, and then the Nightmare and Lightning Road were my first 2 demons. But as we all know, they barely count. But Anumar, the wonder is wonderful. Okay, yeah, I only ever play the Switch in like mobile mode. I almost forget that it could like plug into a TV. Hey, Bobby. Okay, let's just keep on doing that part wrong. That'll be good. But yeah, I usually, like, the only time I really play my Switch, I used to play Diablo 3. I used to have, like, this exercise bike. It was ancient. It was, like, 25 years old, you know, but I would, you know, ride the exercise bike and play Diablo 3. But then the bike finally died, like, the internal electronics got fried or whatever, you know. It was old. And then I, like, basically didn't use the Switch for much past that. I play now, like, whenever my brother and I go to like a family thing for the holidays or, you know, somebody's birthday or whatever. And then, so annoying. And then I'll play the Switch in the car for like 3 minutes and then I'll close my eyes and like try to go to sleep. Have I played any of the Path of Exile franchise? I have not. But people have spoken very positively about it. Have I played Five Nights at Freddy's? I never have. But I know people love that one. Some of my younger friends who, you know, like, are, like, you know, in their 20s and probably don't love me referring to them as my younger friends, but some of my younger friends have talked about Five Nights at Freddy's a lot. You know, if they don't hear me say it, I mean, they could theoretically be here, but if they don't hear me say it, then it's not me, you know, calling them young people again. I feel so old. It doesn't help that I work at a restaurant with literal high school people, and sometimes they're exactly like adults, and then sometimes when they don't know I'm listening, they are nothing at all like adults. Path of Exile, it looks like Diablo. Yeah, I've heard of it, and one of my friends has played and stuff. I don't remember what I was playing when Path of Exile, like, happened, but I was playing something else. And you know me, I tunnel vision pretty hard. Yeah, you say you're playing Path of Exile 2, and everybody says it's better than Diablo. I did not play Diablo 4, one of my terrible habits is, like, I'll be like, say nice ones, sure. Oh, thank you. I bought it at a very famous, internationally recognizable store from my home state of Arkansas. I was walking through one day trying to buy, like, some bandanas for work. I wear bandanas to keep the sweat off of my face and also because they make me look very, very tough. You asked do I like the show? The show's fine. It's okay, I guess. I don't really watch very much TV, and I've only seen like 100 episodes of the show. I did read all of the manga. I'm not caught up anymore, but I did read like the first like 1,060 episodes, chapters of the manga. So I like the universe and stuff very much, but the show itself I haven't watched that much of. Not compared to the full runtime. But yeah, so like I said, like I'll always be like, oh, I didn't play that. Here, let me give you my opinion anyway. So, Diablo is a game series very special to me. And Diablo 3, when it came out, was a game very disappointing to me. And Diablo 4 was a game when it came out that I just didn't get at all because I didn't trust him anymore. in my opinion, is Casio funny to you? I don't, somebody's mentioned that person to me before, but I don't really know who they are. I believe they make videos on the internet, but yeah. I don't really know them. I play Minecraft and I have like, I have a pretty big wheat field. I'm underselling it. It's a very large wheat field, and somebody was speaking about him the other day, I think. But I don't know if it was about the wheat field or if it was just in the wheat field video. But yeah, in general, people are disappointed in the modern Diablo games. But I didn't play them. Well, I played 3, but I didn't play 4. So, if somebody says Path of Exile 2 is better than Diablo 4, they're probably right. But I don't know, because I didn't play either of them. It just sounds like a thing that's true to me. Someone can have like an opinion about a work of art and it just sounds good. Like when someone's like, I think Shakespeare's sonnets are great. You don't think, they sound wrong. But if someone's like, I think Diablo 4 is a brilliant pinnacle of gaming design, you think, why does that sound like a thing no one has said to me before, ever, in the history of ever? You say, you have a feeling I played WoW during Speak years ago? Oh yeah, no, I played WoW in vanilla, back when we just called it World of Warcraft. Back in my day, yeah, I played before there were any expansions. And I also played back in Classic and then some Season of Discovery. And I almost played the Classic reboot. I did a little bit, but I identified that it wasn't fun. As I said to my friends in Discord about it, you can't even plant wheat here. In case you say you weren't even more than... Well, it was a long time ago. One funny thing about being old is you can just, like, start talking. Like, I was telling a story at work, and I was like, oh, when I was working at McDonald's, and somebody's like, I never heard you talk about that. And I'm like, oh, well, it was, 21 years ago. And then I look at them, and they're like, oh, right, you're old. My favorite Diablo game is Diablo 2. I adore Diablo 2. I played it basically when it came out, as soon as my family got a computer good enough for it. And then I played it for many years afterward. Me and my friends Hey Leaf. Me and my friends had multiple occasions where we brought everybody's PC to one house when there was like a ladder reset, and had, like an internet party structured like a LAN party. So instead of bringing the Xboxes together and playing Halo, which we did all the time, we brought the physical computers so that we could all sit in a room and level our sorceresses and paladins and barbarians and such together. Of course, those of us leveling sorceresses were the ones doing the real work, and we all know it. We all know it. Look, a barbarian ain't helping you level on day 1 of the ladder, but my friend wanted to play it, and we support his choice. Plus, he did the shout thing, and that gives you more HP, and that's good. Alright, not the third one. My opinion about Elden Ring and Bloodborne, didn't play them. I know they are very highly regarded. Okay, you hit the first and second one, and then we go through the third one at the bottom. And then it's 4 jumps. You say I was hardcore back then. Oh yeah, I'm very hardcore. No, me and my, I don't want to admit to it on the internet, but we would break some rules. Like, for example, there was like a map hack that you weren't supposed to use, but Diablo 2 randomly generated its places, so we may have been banned occasionally. I do not admit wrongdoing. We fall there. Okay, and now, this is the part that made me give up the game, I think. Do I think I can do this, Orange Froggy? Hello, EasyEW. No, I don't think I can do this. But I don't think I can't, either. This level is right at the point where I think I can at least improve a lot. Alright, so this is the one... This is the checkpoint that I spent, like, forever on, right? But yeah, my opinion about Elden Ring and Bloodborne. Yeah, they seem excellent. I don't know if Bloodborne's even on PC. I don't know. Elden Ring, I I just wanted to get it on sale. If a game's gonna be so hard that maybe I'm gonna quit, I don't want to buy it for full price, right? What genre of games are my favorite? JRPGs. I would consider, even though I spend like most of my viewing content time on real-time strategy games, and I play a super wide variety of games, JRPGs are my favorite genre. Probably by a pretty wide margin. Ever since I was a young child, I learned to read from the first Final Fantasy game, and we had it and Dragon Warrior 1 and Dragon Warrior 4, the Dragon Quest games, but they were called Dragon Warrior on the NES. And we had both of them, and I loved them very much. And then on the Super Nintendo, we had several other JRPGs. Final Fantasy 4, my favorite game, Final Fantasy 6, which my favorite game is Final Fantasy 6, not 4. But yeah, but you can't play Bloodborne on PC. Yeah. If you're gonna say anyone can beat an extreme if they put in the time and the effort to improve, well, we've got plenty of time. Sinalus, you asked if have I tried skeletal shenanigans at event level. I played a bit of it. It's like it was too hard for me. It was very interesting looking. If we get to a frustrating point here, we might go back to it just to see if we can bash through it in practice. There's sort of like I was doing like level requests, which is a stressful thing for me, and I was trying it, but it was pretty hard, and I was like, I didn't want to spend too much time on any one level kind of thing. Not as well. What have you learned? Well, there have been blindfolded Mario 64 runs, I want to say, even legitimate ones, and there's definitely been blindfolded Punch-Out, so... Yikes. Alright, let's go ahead and get that death sound effect off and start dying a lot. But as for Elden Ring, so my brother bought it, and I was gonna like wake up in the middle of the night or like whenever he wasn't at home and go and play on his PlayStation, and then he ended up like getting frustrated with it and returning it. So, and then I was like, maybe I'll get it someday. I didn't play like any of the Souls games, not really. Like I have helped my friend beat bosses on them, cause I'm a real gamer or whatever. But I haven't I haven't made a character and played for several hours in a row or anything. I've just been like, what button dodges, and then figured out something. I'm super obnoxious to being around. I didn't have to tell y'all that, you already knew. But like, I'll watch a person play a video game, and I'm like, they're doing a thing with the shield. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, like 15 frames before they swing, they're like bringing their shield down to the right. They're like, what? I'm like, you can see a little light reflecting on it, right? And then they're like, why don't you do it? I'm like, oh, I thought you'd never ask. Like my foolish APUS history teacher who asked me if I wanted to teach the class. Oh, I did such a good job, y'all. I talked about Andrew Jackson and the National Bank crisis, She really regretted it. They should have paid me, but I didn't demand anything, I was happy to work for free. I have a love of history, after all. I wonder if that lady is still a teacher. If so, I'm sure she unfondly remembers her time having to be mine. That was actually okay, right? 84 to 90%. Since, as you say, you have to go in 15 minutes, well, we might be still failing here, then. I'm so bad. But it had been some time since I had played some Geometry Dash, and I figured, we can get some attempts in. At the very least, give a good hour or so to Clubstep before I decide if I want to target something else, Hey, look how good that was! 84 to 91, I should put that in the description. I mean, not really. I should put that in my mental description of Clubstep. Theoretically, I can get from 84 to 91, which that means we should be able to theoretically... you know, if we had done it again there, I would have been able to make a more fun sentence about it. You say you want to start a new hardest soon, you just don't want my hardest to be outside the top 1,000. I get that, you know. You got to have your points of pride. How did I do on Theory of Everything 2 compared to Clubstep? I failed like 1,600 times to get past 17% on Theory of Everything 2. I did very, very, very badly at a segment at the very beginning from like 11% on. It was a big problem for me, that segment. It had everything bad, which is basically irregularity in inputs. So like you could hit the portal and then different things would happen, like pretty dramatically different things would happen based on where you hit it. So it wasn't as simple as hold if you hit the portal, and I couldn't get any consistency built at all, to the point where I couldn't even get past it basically at all. I got through the segment like twice and then immediately died right as soon as we got through it. It was rough. It was real rough. And every time we get there, I'm 100%, if we ever get this far in normal mode, we're going to either die right there or right afterward. Blah. Terrible. Nope. Blah. I think this part, look, I'll keep failing on it, but it's not as bad as I remember. Like I said, oh, button got stuck. I'm like, I didn't even think I was doing it wrong that time. The button got stuck. Of course. Anytime the button gets stuck, I'll just die. That is the way it goes. Yeah, because now this part's feeling like maybe in like 10,000 attempts we'll be able to do it. But yeah, Leaf, I play with an Xbox controller. It is, you know, it's what works for my ridiculous human body. It is not ideal, but you do what you gotta do. This song. I love this song in the library. I think it's called like Cartier or something. It very much feels like a backing track for like a not a modern hip hop track, but like an 8 years ago hip hop track. I dig it. Yeah, it was like last month or the month before in the YouTube audio library, they had like a bunch of songs that were like really good, and they all had like super cringy, like meme names, you know. This was in it, but you know, this one, I don't think Cartier is like a meme name. It's super hard to say if you don't know French. I don't know French. I just know how to pronounce French words badly. Bye, Leaf. Thanks for stopping by. Have I listened to plenty or intervals? I don't believe so. I don't really keep current on most things. I listen to like a bunch of electronic music, but I don't know any of the artist names because it's all in like mixes that I find on YouTube, you know, like 2 hours of chill wave beats to game 2 or whatever, you know. Do I think Rob Top should make Theory of Everything 3? From my understanding, Rob Top likes to work at their own pace, and maybe they should spend their efforts on something else rather than making another level. But, you know, maybe. You know, I've only seen 17% of Theory of Everything 2. I think Rob Top should make a robot suit for me to use so that I can use the mouse to click on the game. That's what I think we should do. Like in my super excellent icon where Sir Green Blockington is inside of the spider, like a little Megazord from Power Rangers. Man. And you get a lot of the variable portal stuff here too, because if you hit this portal like too far to the right, then you just pop into the wall. So you just gotta, you know, it looks like you can just hit a portal, but Natasha, you say still waiting, certainty of nothing, -1. I don't know what that reference means, but I do know what those words are. It's like still waiting, the song made famous by Sum 41. That one was fun. You know, it was no fat lip, but what was gonna be, you know. To be young again. Speaking of things that happened 24 years ago, the band Sum 41. This song's fun. Feels bad. You know, we're not good at this part yet. It's better than before, you know, cause look, I know those last 4 times when we immediately failed aren't really speaking the truth of my statements here, but we are doing you know, better there. All right, so there's the 95 fail. That's where we'll fail there. But all right, let's just go ahead and put the automatic checkpoints on. Try to push forward and then see how far we can get our best. We might just practice some starts at the beginning real quick if we're doing, you know, significantly badly enough. Obviously, we need a ton more practice before we could feel confident about even getting halfway through. But it's nice to alternate the soul-killing failures of practice mode with the soul-killing failures of normal mode, because they are, after all, different ideas. As I fail to get through this again. Literally the worst. Okay. Hello, the dish soap. Gabriel, do I have a wife or girlfriend? I do not. My shirt says One Piece. And then it's got Luffy, like, you know, being all Monkey D. Luffy about it. And he's got like a big old hand going at it, you know, gum punch and all that. As you might imagine, Nico Robin is my favorite character in One Piece, but they didn't have a Nico Robin t-shirt at the store, and if they did, it might have looked like a shirt I wouldn't want to wear, because Nico Robin is, after all, drawn by Oda, who is very good at writing certain kinds of characters, and very teenage boy at drawing certain kinds of characters. Gabriel, you say you think I make a good father. That's very nice of you to say. I think you're wrong, but it's still nice of you to say. Y'all are only seeing me at my best here. Most people describe me as challenging to deal with. I don't relish the idea of being responsible for anybody else. I don't even want to be responsible for me. Yeah, exactly, Natasha. Like a couple parentheses, which is ridiculous. But basically, from Robin's like first appearance in the manga, I was hooked. Cause like I was talking with one of my friends in Discord while I was reading through it, because he was a big fan, and I was just like, all right, this introduction panel, this is great. She's just like sitting there with Crocodile, spoilers, and you know, this came out like 20 years ago. She's sitting there with Crocodile, and he's like, blah 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 blah, Nico Robin, and she's like, look, if you want to kill me, you can kill me, but don't ever call me that name again. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's a good hook. I want to learn more about her. And then I was very thrilled when she, you know, became part of the crew, part of the ship, and all that. Speaking of One Piece, one of my buddies from work, I'm gonna tell his story. He was on vacation, and he saw like the ship, the Going Merry that they're doing for the live action. He saw like the physical one out of the window as he and his family were driving down the road. And he showed me a blurry picture of it, and I was like, that's her! That's the Mary! Alright, so we pushed the checkpoint there. You gotta, like, start spamming early there, I guess? Okay, you go underneath that one. That's funny. I bet I'll mess that up for real. I'm like, what's the coin path here? Okay, because like I saw the coins, so you would drop down. Alright, so like one input drop down here, and then level out over the floor. How tough is that to do? Is it harder than the rest of it? Because the next, it might actually be easier, right? If we practice it. As I keep on dropping like a stone thrown into the pit of a lake. Oh, that's super weird. doesn't look like it'll be terribly easier, yeah, because there, oh, it's bottom than the top there, so... And then underneath. Ha! And then trying to go the right way, we still die. That would be a real rough death on a normal run, wouldn't it? That would be a painful one. Okay. Well, you know, there's another 1,000 practice attempts on there. Let's see if we can get past 6%, shall we? Hey, 7% new best. Amazing. Yeah, now how hard could it be? Yeah, now that we've got to 7%, we'll just hit that yellow orb at the beginning that kills you repeatedly. Or fail to do all of that repeatedly. The problem with this level is that it's actually a lot of clicks at the beginning, so if I do bad, it will mess up my hand for too long, because that's like a whole bunch of clicks relative to what we normally do. Hey, 9%! Amazing! Just absolutely crushing it. You know, if we continue on at this rate, we'll beat this level today. It won't happen. Don't even allow your hopes to exist, let alone get them up. No. Y'all have been watching, you know I'm not about to beat this. You know, nothing could be further from probability. Okay, let's just do that wrong again. Feels good. Did you make the demotivating speaker? There's a wonderful speech given by Kurt Vonnegut Jr., one of my favorite writers. Or is he senior and his son is junior? Anyway, I see the names written down. Anyway, Kurt Vonnegut, the novelist. And he's like speaking to like some people graduating. He's like, you know, I've been asked to come and give you some advice, so I would say to be ready for failure and disappointment, because that's most of what you're going to have in life. And anyway, wonderful novels. A lot of bad research in them, but who cares? They are, after all, novels. Oh yeah, the blue one to go up top after. We are awarded no percentage bests for these failures. Because really, it is good advice to be prepared for failure and disappointment. That's what I needed to hear for my whole life. Not that I had potential or could do well. They needed to be like, look, stuff's gonna go bad for you all the time, so you are gonna need to get like really good at dealing with your feelings about it. That would have been useful information. Hey, 10%! Hey, really say there's mouses for carpal tunnel syndrome in case I'm interested? You know, I would have to look into it. I don't, because I can use it for most things. I can't just use it for like super clicky stuff. You have to go to Bison Solis. Thanks for stopping by and watching me not beat this level. In coming days, we should keep on not beating this level for a while. All right, 28%. I mean, totally fine run there. That was a big jump. That was a big jump. Feels good. We did that black and white cube part pretty well. I don't think we'll need to practice that too many more times to get, you know, as we go back to address later sections, we'll just, you know, do it to freshen up a bit. I think that part will be basically fine though. It's not too tricky once you just, you know, grown acclimated to what you're supposed to do there. Ah, blah blah blah. Okay. Oh, not there, not there. Sometimes I was like, wait, why am I not? Why am I not doing what I expect? Ah, that's not how to do it. 28%'s a whole lot better than, like, you know, 4 or 6, so I'll take it. I need to do my 1,000 subscriber special. I think I'm gonna be like really annoying and just describe out loud how to make French bread while I walk through the wheat field, and then at the end I will like hold up a loaf of wheat bread, or not wheat bread, you know, it's all wheat flour, right? You know, hold up a loaf of my French bread that looks sort of like the icon in Minecraft and say, and that's how to make bread, you know, or something like that. Again, without showing any actual bread making at all, just describing out loud how to make bread. And both because it would require no effort at all and it would be funny. I would totally videotape myself making bread, I just don't have the ability to do so. I'm not gonna, like, bring my whole computer upstairs so that I can record it. That would be funny, too. Because really, making bread is very cinematic. Like when you pick up the loaf and you, like, throw it down on the counter, because you can do that, you know, you can do anything you want. You can go, "Byaw!" and then throw it down. You can do anything. No one can stop you when you're making bread. Because, like, as the person making bread, everyone who's witnessing you act like a madman is going to eat the bread anyway, so you're just allowed to make funny sound effects. I recommend it. You know, those and other observations, those would be what you could look forward to in the 1,000 subscriber special. Every milestone, I'll just describe out loud how to make something without showing you. No, I would never do, like, food making on YouTube. It's gotta be just the worst experience. Food's so hard to photograph, and I don't care about pictures. The coin path is easier? I don't even know what you mean. Unless you mean there at the end of the level, in which case, yeah, probably. You know, after all the practice there, we still can't convert it. The final coin. Yeah, I can see that it could be. It's just, it's a little tricky, right? And I feel like the final shit part that you're avoiding there is not hard to do, the part that you're getting away with not doing, but I feel like going for the coin is a lot tighter of a tolerance than the rest of it is, so it feels like I wouldn't want to. The first coin, not the last coin. I blinked whenever I was leading it. Yeah, I don't even know how to get the first coin, man. I see it there while I'm dying around it, but I don't know how to do it. Do I know I can buffer orbs? Not in a useful way where I actually have ever done it, but yes, I know that theoretically it is possible. Yes, the concept is not foreign to me. I just never do it. I'm really, really bad. Every time I try to, like, hold a thing, unless it's, like, a very mandatory hold it here for, you know, 4 seconds or you die, like at that one point at Death Moon from, like, 61 to 63, right? I can't hold and I can't buffer. If I try, I'll just die instead. I'm very bad at this game. But I'm enthusiastic anyway. After all, if you don't care, then it doesn't matter. CJ, you said she's a 10, but she doesn't buffer orbs. You know, everybody's got a flaw. I hit the second orb. It didn't work. Hey, 29%. Slightly better than before. Anonymous, you say you spend so long looking for your emoji, the joke's no longer funny. It would have only been funny to other people anyway. I don't understand most emojis, and basically if I see them and I don't know what they mean immediately, I just glaze over it as if it's not even a real thing. It's just like a haze of sunlight over all the pictures that people put on the internet. But I understand that a lot of people really like them. But you know, as a person who doesn't use a smartphone, I'm not as versed in the emojis as other things. I know, like, you know, the common Discord ones, although there's a lot of context for them that I'm often missing. I'm like, this is the one that people do for laughing, but I don't know, like, you know, why. I don't know why this guy is the laughing guy. And every time I ask someone to explain, they're like, oh, this is this person. They were famous on Twitch 18 years ago or something, you know, so I've just stopped asking most of the time. I Google an emoji if I don't get it at all, but like a picture of a guy laughing is, you know, that's a guy laughing. Natasha, say one of the most famous cooktubers isn't really extrovert emotions, fair to cooking videos, I'd give him competition. I don't think I've heard of that person, but perhaps I'll give them a look. Because the guy that I use for most of like the stuff that I make, which is not like a lot of stuff. I don't make that many things. Is this guy called Preppy Kitchen. John Cannell is his real name. Um, and it's very funny because like me as a person, if you were like, you should watch this YouTube channel, it's called Preppy Kitchen. Like I would be like, dude, have you met me? That's not really my style. But it's a very good channel, and I think he describes things super well to like beginners. And importantly, he like believes that you should measure your ingredients properly by mass, you know, and stuff like that. And his cookie recipe that's why I found him. Whenever I was like, I'm gonna learn chocolate chip cookies, his was the first recipe I did. I looked around on the internet for pictures like in Google Images, and it was just like I was looking for the cookie that was the one I wanted to make, and then his was that cookie. My chocolate chip cookies are probably better than his now because I have made them hundreds and hundreds of times, and I bet he makes, you know, all sorts of other stuff, and so he can't, you know, level up the chocolate chip cookies like I can. But I probably like 80% of all the recipes I've ever made have been from Preppy Kitchen, and I think the recipes are really well done, and like the method and stuff on his website where you get the recipes from is really well done too, in my opinion. Like every time I talk to someone and they're like, how do you make your cheesecake so good? I'm like, well, it's easy. You just follow this recipe. And they're like, I've never heard of this guy. I'm like, well, just follow the recipe. Well, yeah, somebody laughing, right? But the rose thing? I don't know what the rose thing means. The CJ thing. Because, like, is that a Beauty and the Beast reference? That would be what I go to. You know, stay out of the West Wing. Very Bluebeard sort of stuff. But yeah, no, I know that the laughing means a thing, but again, there's different kinds of laughs, right? There's what I call crying white girl laughing face. I know everybody you can use the emotion, but most of the time whenever somebody has sent me personally like 6 of the crying laughing faces, it's been some white girl I know. So to me, that one's called crying white girl laughing face. I know that one was like the word of the year in a dictionary a couple years ago. And that one's a laugh, you know, but there's other kinds of laughs too. This is like a specific laughing face, though. It's like a human face in the emoji. He's very tan and he has like a mustache and he's going, you know, he's just laughing like his face is shaking in the thing. But, because people sometimes use the crying white girl laughing face, but sometimes they use this guy's face, who again is like a real person in the emoji, in the Discord emoji. And I don't know why we would use him specifically instead. But if someone's already clicked that one, then I'm just going to click that one too if something's funny, you know, because that's what you do on Discord, right? You pile on, you let people know that you think their funny joke is funny too. Lending people to make me, you know, look like I understand the proper kind of laughing face to use. I'm like, do I even, like, I can just mouse over it and tell you guys what it is. No, I can't find any of them. No one thought it was that kind of funny. It was just normal crying laughing face for a long time in here. I forget. It's got some kind of a weird, you know, thing. You mouse over, it's like ARPG lol or something. I don't know. I can't find it. There, I found it. It is, yes, ARPG LOL : It is just a guy with a mustache laughing. I'm like, now that I've been talking about it, I gotta tell you guys what it is. So if you're on Discord, you know, that's the one I mean. And anyway, I have no idea why we would use that guy's laughing face instead of like the normal laughing emoji, but sometimes people do. I'm sure he's a very famous laughing guy. Normally when people's faces are in emojis, it's because they're famous. But I've never heard of him. Yes, indeed, Anonymous. Why use picture when word do trick? Look, sometimes it's fine, which, like, my usage of emojis is like a, I have seen this thing. Like, that's how I use them. I wouldn't add pictures to a sentence to enhance the meaning, right? What do I think of Clubstep? That's the song, right? The one with the awesome shredding guitar solos. Good stuff. I went through upside down? That's different, isn't it? Blah. Emojis is tone indicator sometimes. Yeah, for sure. I get that. I'm old, so like a good old LOL at the end of a sentence is sort of like the typical send off for my people. But I use what I call emoticons. Like a smiley face, but made from a colon and a parentheses. I quite like those. Who hasn't given a nice less than 3 to let someone know that it's all heart between you, I just don't like, exactly, because again, like the emoticons had a different soul than because like, for example, like the tongue sticking out, the colon uppercase P is a playful like indicator of sarcasm, but in picture form can mean something vastly different. Just a yellow face with the tongue sticking out is way different than the uppercase P emoticon one, right? And the winking face is also very similar here, because a wink, like a semicolon parentheses, never indicates like flirtation or whatever, but the winking emoji often can. And these are ways in which the pictures are dramatically inferior to the symbol itself, that the picture has sort of superseded in the consciousness. I think allowing the pictures to control the path of the symbol is a bad choice. Like, less than 3 is so superior to red heart emoji. It's so superior. Or like, here, I'll type a couple of things. So like this, or like that is just like a much better smiling face, right, than a bunch of the other things, Exactly. Like that's just like, or my favorite, so crying face like this. I don't use the 3 for the mouth, but like the carrot underscore carrot or T underscore T are, in my opinions, absolute classics and never should have gone away. And I hate that pictures have overtaken them. This has been my old man rant about emojis. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming of Geometry Dash. Oh, don't get me started on uwu. Telling the story about my friends now. There was once a time when I had to get my manager at work to talk to a couple of my friends at work, because they were writing OWO on tickets, and like other very old people in the kitchen who are not as internet savvy as me were like, what does this mean? And I'm like, I will have them spoken to about this. And like, I thought it was pretty funny, but like annoying. What's wrong with them? As expressions, they're whatever. What's wrong with them on a ticket in my kitchen is that is space that should only be used for information about food and never ever to be funny. And that's what's wrong with them. If they had like written them on their, apron, that's okay. But they were writing them on the ticket that comes into the kitchen, and that's what's wrong with it. Unacceptable. Again, I thought it was funny, but it wasn't funny that I had to spend any time talking about it. Look, when you work in a kitchen, everything is supposed to be done a certain way every time. And anybody who doesn't believe that is going to have a moment where they are explained to them that it has to be done. Actually getting half decent at this first chunk, right? So if we get some fruitful progress on that ship part and then future parts, you know, we might actually be making some decent progress. I hate to say it, but it appears to be true. Because I mean, sure, you're gonna see me die at 4% all the time, but whenever we get a run going, you know, it tends to go okay. My best is 29%, Calvi. So just right there with the rocket ship part, but okay, we'll just crash right there. Seems good. That won't do it. That's bad. Feeling good about this run. The controller's feeling real snappy. You know, sometimes the inputs just like push against your hand. You're like, oh yeah, spring in the step. Okay, we went through upside down. Sometimes that happens. I don't know why. When it does, we'll just die. You know, yeah. I do not know why sometimes we go upside down there. It is certainly something to do with me, the electronics around, or the position of the moon in the sky. I do not know which. What's the most intense nightmare I've had? Prefer not to say. Prefer not to say. My favorite game mode is probably Ball, although I do enjoy Spider a lot. Although I think UFO might be my best game mode. A lot of people, when they talk about the sections, they seem to find them more frustrating than I do. Even if I do bad on UFO sections, I often I don't get as frustrated. Like if I do bad on like a wave section or a ship section, it can really get under my skin. But doing bad on UFO, once I figure out what the game wants from me, doesn't seem to be so annoying. Same with Ball. Even doing very bad on a Ball section, I feel like it's my fault. Whereas a ship, I'll just be like, you made this too hard. It's because I either click or hold during the transition. Okay. I don't see why it should give me the power to do that. Doesn't make sense. but I'm sure that in like a, you know, electronics way, it makes perfect sense. Ouch. I'm so bad. Like, let's just die at 4% repeatedly. Again. Do I consider this my hardest level? I've beat Death Moon. I think this level's harder than Death Moon. If I beat it, I will consider it my new hardest. Even though I'm sure people will try to argue with me about whether or not Death Moon is harder. You know, there's no wave here. This level's probably pre-wave, I imagine. That's probably the historical reason. But there's a lot of elements that are not present at all in Death Moon that make this harder, I think. There's a lot of orbs that are relatively close to each other. There's more, like, density of inputs. There's dramatically more fakes. Because in Death Moon, there's, what, like, one orb in the whole level that you have to hit? And here, there are orbs at all. There are duels in Death Moon. They're not that hard. They can be hard to learn. Aw, we were almost to 30%. But yeah, no, my initial impression was that this was harder than Death Moon. Because I left this level to play Death Moon, is like the order of how it went, right? Like, this was explicitly one where I was like, this is too hard, I don't like these things. I'm gonna play other games. But after failing a Death Moon for like 20 to 23 hours, I became better at the game. Not better enough to beat this, but better enough to feel like maybe I could do it eventually. Eventually. You know. That's attempt 4,000. Of course, at least 1,300 of them were spent at one part failing at the ship thing. And several hundred more are spent with me hitting this one because it's all I can do to hit fast enough to even hit the blue orbs there. So it's like, it's really hard to hit those four fast enough and then stop hitting it for the fifth one. Because if those orbs were any closer together, I probably couldn't even hit them. They're really, really about the limit, the first three are, of the speed that I can hit the controller. Without going a lot faster and hitting it, 8 or 12 times in a row and then dying, Because it's to be able to hit it in that density, but without messing up and hitting the next one. But if I do it, slightly too early, then we miss the fourth one. It's tricky. I'm glad that part is at the beginning so I can fail at it a lot. You say Silent Clubstep is better. That one's like a very, very difficult level, right? One of like a top 10. Maybe it got edged out at some recent time, but I've heard later people talk about it before. I thought they meant like the level with no sound. I'm like, well, I already play Silent Clubstep. It was hard. And they're like, no, no, I mean a different thing. I mean really Silent Clubstep. Does Silent Clubstep have a soundtrack? Probably. It'd be a little bit too on the nose to not have anything. Blah. Silent Clubstep number 10. Okay, yeah. I knew that there's been a shakeup in recent times with new stuff getting verified and all. Ah, well, you know, it's still a new best. I was like, and then we'll go up into that safe corridor, and then I did not do that thing. Ah, well, almost. We're all confirming that Clubstep is harder than Death Moon. Good. I'm glad. It's gonna take me ages to beat it, but that's okay. After all, if I ever beat it, then I'll have to play something else. On the downside, it's not nearly as aesthetically pleasing as Death Moon is, but at least it's varied, you know. You get lots of different colors. I do like the red and black. Which you get a lot of the, you know, the Death Moon-esque coloration here, the scheme. Whoops. Ken Dog. You asked my favorite brand of alcohol. I actually have not had a drink in a long time. Long time. 8 years, 6 months, 8 days, and this morning. It's been the great challenge of my life. So I hope you'll forgive me for not answering. You say you'd recommend I Spy. I tried I Spy the other day, but I not only did it have a bunch of flashing lights, I didn't understand what was going on at all whenever I was playing it. I just deleted it. My favorite time of surgery is carpal tunnel surgery. Feels bad. Ah, bad. That input would have killed me regardless. That was a bad input, just a flawed one, not just a little wrong, but very fatally wrong in all regards. That was a late hit on the orb, I guess. Okay. My favorite amendment? Oh, oh, that one's tough, man. There's a lot of really good ones, right? Oh man. Like, so 13, 14, and 15 are all really strong, right? But yeah, the amendment that ended slavery in America, definitely the best amendment. There's a lot of other really good amendments, but that one is certainly the best one by a dramatically wide margin. No question that it's the best of them, but there's a lot of really good ones. You know, the amendment that gave the right to vote to women that always should have been granted because, you know, America stuff. But that one's super excellent as well. Hey, Bouncy Block. We came back, and we're doing fine. How's Clubstep? Oh, it's doing okay. Oh, we did the upside down thing. We've got to 30%. We did a bunch of practice at the start. It was not, like, super fruitful. Really, this... You've probably experienced this. You know how, like, you're playing a level, and you know you can't beat it, but you kind of want to do a little better at it before you go back to practice more of it anyway? Like, you know there's no way you'll beat it, but you're like, oh, come on, I could do, like 40% before we went to practice more. And that's how I'm feeling here now. It doesn't feel, like, totally hopeless, which is good. Because that's certainly how it felt the last time I was around. Alright, all of these random songs. There we go. A much better sound. YouTube's forcing you to separate. Yeah, you know, it's the worst. I remember how happy I was the day that I found the Discord setting to stop automatic conversion of symbols, of typographical symbols to the emoticons, you know, the emoticon to emoji pipeline, because that's a setting, and I was so happy. I used to complain so much. Say that 30% was kind of fast, way better than expected. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Once we got through this first part, the practice section from here forward, as I die, from there forward was fine. I know I need to tighten up on that ship part, probably just play it like a whole bunch until I do it better. Because, again, notwithstanding that death, we do fine here, you know, it's okay. Okay, notwithstanding that either. Terrible. Yeah, maybe you have predictive hieroglyphics. I don't know why my brain thought I could say predictive hieroglyphics really quick without, you know, preparing first. Predictive hieroglyphics. See, now I can do it, but I already practiced. Okay, let's just not jump there. I was about to be like, and so we always do good at this part. Dies. Always do good. Whoops. Bounce, you say this level really tests my ship skill. Yeah, you know, those parts are so rough. I'm not at all confident in my ability to get through them, but that doesn't mean we won't accidentally do it eventually, right? And if I just like practice a lot at it, then that might be fruitful, maybe. You know, as bad as I am at this game, I'm not like skill capped, right? Like, what? There's a portal there? How do I never see that there's a portal there? Is it the same color as the background? I'm probably just so focused on not running into the teeth that I don't know. That's the second time we've died right there, both times acting like no input is going to make us just float up into it because I don't realize there's a portal. Let's start realizing there's a portal. Say once I beat this, I'll be better at ship. Oh, I bet, you know. As I'm likely to spend a couple thousand attempts on practicing those sections. I mean, we've already got 4,000 here. 2,700 was the first tries. Why not practice it now? Because by long-standing tradition, I don't really go from practice to normal and then back to practice. I usually stop. I love this song so much. This needs to play whenever I'm like walking out after winning my pro wrestling matches. Not like the intro song. Now you might say, are you not a professional wrestler? That doesn't mean I can't have a theme song. You say it took you 10,000 attempts your first time? Well, you know, you're not the first person to tell me that. Maybe I'm on track then, you know, because we're only on like attempt like 4.2k right now, you know. 4.2k, it sounds smaller than 4,000. But like, so the thing about practice mode is that it feels very frustrating. Because, you know, you practice what you need to get better at, but then you're seeing only the same thing over and over, and it's very disconcerting. You're like, wait, you know, you start to have self-image problems. You're like, wait, is there something wrong with me? Why can I not get past this 4% of a ship section? You know? What martial arts do I have experience with? I never, like, formally trained. I have been in a large number of amateur boxing matches. And like I can like, you know, I can kick really well. I used to have a punching bag and stuff, but I don't have a formal education. I can kick things super hard without falling over, including things that are the height of my head. Whatever might happen to be the height of a human head, you know. Whatever could be that tall. But that was long ago, and I am a peaceful guy now. I try not to kick anything, regardless of the height. I watch sumo, a professional like sumo, grand sumo from Japan. That's the martial art that I keep current with. I am an enthusiastic fan of professional sumo. I'm all about it. Hey, new best. That's right there, teeth there, 32%. I'm like, and then there's more ship stuff. More stuff. Yeah, we probably should go practice it, huh? It'll be fine. Still, actually, I'm sort of having a good feeling about it. Sure, we've got all the hardest bottlenecks to come, but as I die there, we've got this first section pretty good. For all that I'll die at 4% all the time, I bet a lot of people do that. I bet they do, I bet a lot of people forget to jump there. I bet a lot of people botch these orbs, but it doesn't matter because, you're already right back to it. And then I didn't, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. It's like, and then there's like 12% essentially that's almost free. Because look, the upside down section here, this black and white here, like it's not nothing, but once you learn it, there's nothing complicated about it, right? It's not fast together. You just got to be like, hey, don't do the bad thing. And then you've got a huge section there that's essentially free after the start, and then you can pierce the top of your head. That's what's hot on the streets right now. Everyone's just putting a spike right into poor Sir Green Blockington's dome. Poor little guy. Oh, Bouncy, I finally beat Dash, and you were right. It is the best icon ever that you unlock with it, and I finally changed an icon, so now the spider is the little mech with Sir Green Blockington inside piloting it, and I love it so much. I actually haven't played a level with it yet. I'm probably going to be overcome with joy at how cute and adorable he is. But it was super excellent. I was like, oh, well, this is certainly worth changing the icon for. It looks even more Green Blockington than before. But I'm just gonna take like a 1-minute break, guys. I need to go grab a Mountain Dew. Is what I'm gonna do. But I will be right back. All right. Oh man, I love Mountain Dew. I don't know what it's supposed to taste like, but it sure is good. Obviously I'm not being paid by Mountain Dew to compliment it. I'm just a fan. Whoops. Feels bad. That was a little clumsy. Whoops. Yes, let's just not show any progress at all with the beginning. No, it's not fair. Look, I know I'm not supposed to hit that yellow orb at the beginning, just like I know I'm supposed to hit that blue orb there. And, like, I know I'm supposed to hit that orb there. It's not important. It's probably not important. Gah. The dog? Oh, that's Wally. He's an old man. He was, you know, like, he was found, you know, not bought from a person or anything. He's like, we think he's part Rhodesian Ridgeback, and then probably like some kind of lab or pit mix. But no, he's an old man now. But my brother found him, you know, like abandoned in a backyard kind of thing. You know, like stuck somewhere with, you know, dirt all over him, kind of stuff. Ages ago, back when he was just a young pup. He's so old now. Makes me sad. He's a good dog. The best. Yeah, he's a good home now. Oh yeah, for sure. Other year today, he got, you know, the last of the peanut butter jar. So I buy, like, you know, 4 pounds of peanut butter in jars. I make peanut butter fudge and such. So for, like, peanut butter fudge, you use, like, 500 grams of peanut butter for a double batch. So you need a lot of it. But then, you know, he gets to stick his face in and absorb all of the goodness and get it stuck on the top of his head and then try to lick that. You know, it's a great time for him. He's like a vaguely chubby dog sometimes, so, you know, he can't have too much human food at all, but a little bit of peanut butter does him just fine. Gabriel, you ask if I have good motor skills? I mean, I'm not going to sit here while I'm not winning a Geometry Dash and say I do. I used to think I did. Now, so you say Gladiator's a good home? No, yeah, for sure. She's just the best dog. You know, sure, he smells bad sometimes, but, I mean, what are you going to do? He's a dog. Yeah, I mean, like, I can twirl a pen in my hand, you know, so, like, I think that's a good motor skill. I know that's not what it means. Yeah, you know, I was a percussionist in high school. I can change the oil on a car. I know that's not what you mean. You say you just lost your dog? I'm sorry to hear about that. Must be very hard. I sometimes upset myself by thinking about what the future inevitably holds, but you know, it's important to remember what we have while we have it too. You ask if I can try your level? I'm just playing this right now. I thought we had that there. Didn't. Nope. Okay. Oh, it's just a meme. Well, that's alright then. I retract my emotional connection. I often have trouble understanding other people, but stuff like that, the really big emotional hits, I do, you know. I don't have trouble feeling empathy for that. Hey, nope. Ah, I forgot again. I forgot the portal again. Okay, I remembered, and then I remembered too much. You know, you gotta do the medium amount. The amount of flying that doesn't crash, but that also doesn't crash. Good luck with that. You're not gonna learn how to do that from watching me. Whoops, not nearly enough. Too much. Okay, but yes, what do I think about anime tropes? I hate basically all of them. I don't watch a lot of anime. You know, I have read like most of One Piece, but I don't consider myself like an anime fan exactly. Like I don't have like a big background in it. I watched the stuff that was on, you know, Adult Swim, Toonami kind of thing, but just like only the most mainstream of level takes. But I hate basically all of the stuff that I associate with anime stylization. I don't like any of it. I don't like the nosebleeds. I don't like the water droplets. I don't like the shaded face. I don't like the yelling of Baka. I don't like the hot spring scenes that seem to creep up in all the Persona games. I don't like any of it. Basically every time I see something where I'm like, this sucks, one of my friends is like, oh, it's like an anime trope. I'm like, well, then I don't like it. Unless you mean like storytelling tropes, which are fine, but all of the visual tropes I dislike heavily. Like, I just think they're super lame. I want to go back in time, find the guy that thought a nosebleed should signify physical attraction, and teach him how to fish or something, you know? Because art shouldn't have been what they were allowed to do. They could have been a nice fisherman. Oh yeah, another thing I hate in anime, when they go into the person and then they like shake and then they like talk excitedly in a mad way. Like maybe that works like on a page. I've seen some manga panels of people yelling that were great, but really I would say that like beyond initial takes, I don't even have enough of a background in consuming anime to really, you know, have an opinion. I couldn't write like an essay about it. I would just be like, this is stuff I remember from video games that I am blaming on anime. Because when I complained about it, people said, oh, it's an anime thing. I'm like, why is this gross stuff in my game? And they're like, oh, it's an anime thing. I'm like, well, it's bad. But there's tons of animes where like I don't remember any of this, so I haven't like watched it in absolutely ages, not even like a single episode. But there was one called Trigun that was on uh, you know, After Dark, and it was amazing. There's this main character called Vash the Stampede, and basically he was just like traveling in this sweet steampunk world where there's like giant trains that go through the desert or whatever, and he was just like trying to mind his own business, but there was a price on his head, so everywhere he went, weird stuff happened. And I don't remember hating any specific thing there, but it's possible that there's a bunch of weird trope stuff in there that I would dislike now, because I can be pretty critical of of things. But yeah, I would say most of my interaction with anime is only in video games, because the Japanese artistic influence is very present in specifically RPG construction in the modern era. You say kind of like John Wick with the Law of Murphy. I don't know what that means. I saw the first movie like one time, and I mainly remember the sick action scenes. What do I think of Junji Ito Maniac? I don't know that one. I've read, like, a story of Junji Ito, because they made like a Magic the Gathering thing where he did some art for some cards, and so that's how I heard of him. I know he is incredibly famous in the horror sort of art sphere, but I would not. Yeah, I don't know what Maniac is. I read the one with the holes in the wall or whatever. I think that's him. If it's not, then I'm gonna sound real ignorant, but I think that's him. And afterward, I was like, that's kind of cool. And then I didn't read anything else. What I really like is like, some super emo poetry written like 100 years ago, that kind of thing. Like, there's this poem by Edna St. Vincent Millay that I'm still stuck on, you know, the one that begins, you know, like, love is gone and left me here. That's my jam, you know. That's my idea of a good artistic time. What a good piece. Maybe I'll read that for a Minecraft video soon. It's very sad. I was gonna do it the other day, but I was having such a good time I didn't want to bring everybody's mood down by reading the sad poems that I like. I crashed into the wall again. Nope. Gah. Hello again, Leaf. We're still dying at 4%. No, not really. I mean, we are, but not every time. Sometimes we die at 6. Attempt 255. The most important attempt. As we all know, 256 doesn't even exist. Best is 32%. We did a good bunch of practicing. Some of it was fruitful, some not so much. I should go back and practice, but I also should do a lot of things. Yeah, the problem is there's 4 ship sections. I hate those words so much when they are together. Segments of ship. And they're all hard. The last one's not so bad. The second and the third ones are terrible, and the first one's pretty rough too. Yeah, let's just run right into it again. You know, if I could see the spike, I would probably still run into it, but I would feel better about it. Not better, but better. You say doing ship on controller is probably worse than mobile? Well, you know, maybe. When I first did ship, you know, I was on mouse back at the very early times of playing, and, you know, everything was easier on mouse, but you can't click many thousands of times on mouse if you're me, so. I can't imagine. Yeah, like, what do you do? Like, you put it down on a surface, you, like, clamp it down, you, like, get a little, like, a vise, and you, like, clamp your phone to a table so that you can tap on it? Geometry Dash Mobile, except, you know, it's stationary. Blah. Okay. Sure. Blah. Okay. Awesome. Just a little early there. Just a little bit. Okay, Gabriel. We won't be playing too much longer. 10:50 for you. It's 11:50 for me, but we'll keep on playing for a bit. After all, there's no place I'd rather be than failing a geometry dash on a nice, oppressively hot summer night. Man, sometimes I just walk outside and it is like being punched in the face with humidity, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I'm so glad I live here specifically, where it's oppressively hot at 10 at night. And after like 4 seconds, a mosquito is already latched onto that part of your neck that you can't hit. And, you know, it's a great place to be. You can see why the French named it something so hard to spell. Okay. Okay. You live in Costa Rica, so you... yeah, I guess it's probably pretty humid and hot there all the time, huh? Well, here in Arkansas, I think there was a time when we were the hottest place on the planet. That day, you know, like, it's been rough here before. Once I was on the internet talking about, you know, how things were hot, and this British person, this person that lived in England was telling me, a guy that lives in Arkansas, that I don't know about what humidity feels like. And I was like, I grew up next to a bayou. It's a swamp. Get out. Anyway. Dude trying to tell me that 85 degrees Fahrenheit is hotter in Britain than 110 is in Arkansas because of the humidity. Look up the humidity, bro. That's what I said. Only like ruder because it was hot. It's not 110 here right now. It will be before the summer is through, and I'll be working in a kitchen. Hey, 33%. Bye, Gabriel. Good night. Some people in Britain claim they've never seen daylight. Yeah, it's just all fog there. It's all cloud. Okay. Must have been, that was like such a high place to get through the portal. It was definitely my fault. I just expected it to be lower. Okay. Okay. Man, I'm so bad. Like, I know I need to practice that part, but we did do it several hundred times earlier, and we never got good at it. We just went past it anyway, so... Maybe that's what we'll do the next time we play. We'll just do, like, 2,000 practice attempts at the various parts of ship. It feels like if Wave existed, they would just do all these ship parts in Wave instead and make it hard that way, but oh well. I'm so bad. Oh, man. Ah, man. You know, whatever. Clearly, we're not good enough at this level. I mean, I didn't think I was. I don't feel like we'll never beat it. I do feel like we're gonna lose 1,000 runs to this ship section. And that's just the easy one. Because, like, even if we get so good at the rest of the level, we'll still die there all the time. I just don't see myself getting good enough at any of the ship parts to be reliable at it, which means we have to do 10 or 15,000 runs, I guess. Because we have to get lucky all of these times in a row, right? We have to get lucky on all of the ship parts and still do the rest of the level right at the same time as getting lucky with all of the ship parts all in a row. So probably 10 or 15,000 times. How many attempts do I have right now? 4,400. But a lot of them are just, you know, not making that jump at all, so they barely count, except in the way that they're all counting the exact same. Blah. A lot of them practice tests? Yeah. I mean, probably like, you know, 3,800 of them. I don't think we've done, you know, more than 500 or so real attempts. We might have done. Terrible. And a whole lot of them are deaths right there on that 5th orb that you're not supposed to hit, but I hit all the time anyway. Okay, I swore we should have done that right. Must have been too late. Thought I hit both orbs. Okay, feels great. Amazing. That's fine. Very, very fine. I really thought we were on a good line there. Couldn't have been more wrong. I mean, I guess I could have died slightly earlier. That would have been more wrong. That could be more wrong too. Good. Great. Sure. Okay. God. Ridiculous. Okay. Let's just go back to dying at 4% then. right. Sure. I'm tired. Anyway. Last run. Not anywhere on close enough of a roll to make it a lie about being the last run. There you go. 4,400 attempts. That's what, like 1,800 we did in this session. Some of them were fruitful, you know. We 33% from 4% isn't nothing, you know, but it's not very good either. So you know, we'll keep on cracking at it. Next time we come back, we'll be doing a lot more practice mode on those ship parts. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everyone. Good night, Bouncy. Good night, Leaf. Good night, Easy. Good night, Anonymous 7. Good night, Natasha. And, you know, perhaps we'll see you all in a later stream or video. I should be, you know, up tomorrow morning doing something before I go to work, you know, Minecraft maybe Jeremy Trash, just depending on how we feel. Maybe a new game, probably not. Y'all know me, I only ever play a couple things. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you had a good time. I know I had a fine time, except for all those times I said blah and brah and no. But, you know, besides that, it was all good. But anyway, I will see you guys later.